Hello, I wanted to take a minute today. It's really been bothering me to provide a complete, clear, unbiased understanding of the invention marketing, invention promotion companies. After being a part of this for about 2 years and seeing it as an inventor, what these companies do, how their processes work, I have found that the average person has absolutely no idea what you're in for. Regardless of what company you decide to work with, you need to do your due diligence, make sure you've checked them out, make sure you understand that there's different types of companies. There's companies that focus on the legal side of the business and different research products, and then there's companies that focus on the marketing side of the business. And typically these companies, they make their money through putting you through a process. They have cookie cutter pricing. And at the end of the day, a lot of people end up with empty promises and an empty wallet. But how does the process work? How do they make the money? And what chance do you have of success? Well, as somebody that is an inventor, that is going through the patenting process, has been patented, and really understands how to take a product to market, I can speak for those that can't speak in regards to this process, because the majority of people that do lose money going through this process wish that they had something that they could reference back to, like this video. So that's why I'm putting this out there, to really kind of explain to you what the process works. The first thing I'll share with you is never ever share your idea over the phone with anyone. You're not protected regardless if they're recording the call or not, unless you're under either a non-disclosure agreement or a statement of non-disclosure. That simply means that if you're providing them with the idea online or in paper, that you're protected. The United States Patent and Trademark Office basically states that if you can prove that you had them sign a non-disclosure, that means it's not for release, and they're not allowed to publicly release that to anyone without your express written permission. That being said, a lot of people are worried that if they Google something, somebody's going to find out about it. That's not going to happen. Don't go around telling people about your idea. It's not a good idea. But it is a good idea to go and read books. Books that can potentially educate you on the process, such as like Laura Grenier's book, Invent It, Bank It, Sell It. One Simple Idea is a good book. Harvey Reese has books on how to market and license ideas. There's a lot of great books out there. But at the end of the day, if you don't take the time to do your due diligence, you will be bombarded by these companies that are relentless. And typically when you fill out a form online, it's not just going to one company. Unless you actually find the direct company you're working with, chances are you're going to get anywhere from 2 to upwards of 10 different companies that are going to contact you. That's right, 10 different companies will call you, and they're relentless. They will not stop calling you. The reason why they won't stop calling you is because they are trying to be the first one to contact you, to basically get you sucked into their program, to get you to utilize their process. And so let me explain to you how this process typically works. I'm not going to mention any specific companies on this video. I'm just going to say that you need to do your due diligence. And the first thing you want to do is see if there's a lot of negative on the internet about a company. That's not a good sign. If a company has been around for a long period of time, but there's a tremendous amount of negative about them, not so good. If a company's been around for a short period of time and there's a lot of negative, that's really not good. One of the key things, though, is when you're going through this process, you have to submit your idea. Why are you submitting it? You're submitting it to be reviewed. Now, there's a difference between somebody who's actually going to review it or somebody who doesn't care. So the first question you want to ask any company is, what percentage of inventions are rejected? In other words, how many inventions do they typically approve? You'll find the majority of these companies approve more than 95%. So what does that mean? They really don't care what your idea is. As an example, when a problem happens on TV, such as a car getting overheated and a child in the back seat, you'll get hundreds of people that will all have the same solution to the existing problem, which is, let's try to figure out a way to alert the parent that the kid's in the back seat. Well, at the end of the day, you're just one of many that are coming up with the same idea. So they don't care. Most companies don't care what your idea is. They simply want to put you through the process. What's most important is that you protect your real intellectual property, that you know your inherent risks going in, and know it's going to cost you money. Most companies don't charge you up front, although there is some companies that will charge you to submit your idea, whether that idea is being submitted for just a pure submission, which you should never pay for, or they're going to provide you with a patent search, which basically is not done by an attorney. They went to Google Patents or the patent search engines online, and they provide you with a bunch of printouts of patent searches, which you could do on your own. We'll go to Google Patents and do a classification search. And just so you know, there's up to 12 or more different search criteria other than just classification search when you do a real patent search by a patent attorney. So what happens is they'll provide you this search for anywhere from $95 to $200, and you think you've got something of value, but you've already committed to them. You gave them money. So what's the next step? The next step is, now that they've got you committed, now they're going to sell you on a marketing package. And so because they're an invention marketing, invention promotion company, and they're selling you on a marketing package, you have rights. As an inventor like myself, you have rights under the Inventors Act of 1999. You have inherent rights. You need to look it up online, but the basis of it is that they are required by law to explain how many submissions they have received, how many they have approved, how many of the ones they have approved have gone through their system and paid them money, and then of the ones that have paid them money, how many of them have actually had some type of a licensing deal or a deal with a marketing company, and then more importantly, what percentage of those actually received a net financial gain more than the amount of money they put in. Those are basically the 5 questions under the Inventors Act of 1999. Now, the second act you want to know about is the American Invents Act of 2011, and went into full effect in March of 2013. It basically states that we're no longer a first to invent country, we're a first to file. So what does that mean? That means that in order for you to own your idea, you have to actually have a patent pending or a patent. Most people think that when you get a patent, you are patent pending, you're able to be protected. But patent pending is really giving you a first to file. What does that mean? That means under the American Invents Act, prior to 2013, you could be the first to invent it. That means even if somebody tried to patent it, if you could prove you had a notebook or some way to show whether you did a poor man's patent and you emailed it to yourself or mailed it to yourself, or you had a notebook that showed all the history of how you put it together, or a prototype and pictures, if you could prove that you were first to invent it prior to 2013, you could potentially be the one who gets the patent and is able to get the rights to patent it prior to that person, even if they tried to patent it, even if they brought it in the market. However, the majority of the rest of the world doesn't work that way. They work under a first to file. So what does that mean? That means that you need to be the first one to file for a patent. And real quickly understand there's different types of patents. It's basically 3 major types of patents. There's a utility patent, there's a design patent, and a formula, or what they call a plant patent. Most patent companies will push you towards a design patent. Just so you know, you cannot really license a design patent unless it has to do with the inherent look and actual functionality and look go together in that particular design, such as the front of the iPhone, as an example, with the 1 button on it. They have very rarely will they license a design idea. However, the utility covers the functionality and the mechanics, and those are what they try to license. Now, there's different ways that you can also, most of them won't get involved in anything to do with pharmaceutical products or formulations. You'll probably get denied by most of the companies. A lot of recipes and foods will also get denied by most of the companies. That said, you do need to understand that you have to educate yourself on the patenting process. Don't just go into it blind. You know, as somebody who's gone through this process, understand that there's different ways to get a patent. And you want to have all your options available to you. Don't get sucked into the first one that you talk to on the phone. Make sure you actually look at your options. Make sure you do your due diligence. And so why would you want to have a patent? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, you want to protect your intellectual property in case somebody tries to infringe on it. Number two, when you have a patent, you actually have something that you own. So as an example, just like if you were going to go buy a car, you need to have title. And it's the same thing with a patent. You need a certificate of ownership. That's what a patent is. It's your certificate of ownership that says you own that idea. When you actually have that certificate of ownership, people can buy or license it from you. Same thing as if you owned a car. The other thing is that if you're going to go direct to market with a product, your idea is most likely going to start out being patent pending. You'll see a lot of products that say the words patent pending, which means that the patent office has not yet come to a decision. That's number one. Or number two, you did a provisional versus a non-provisional. So what's a provisional patent? A provisional patent is not a patent. It's an application for a patent. It's only good for a first to file head start, if you will, for 12 months. You have up to 12 months to file for a patent, and that application is not seen by the patent examiner. A lot of companies will push you towards getting a provisional patent, and they want you to spend all your money on their marketing programs. They're going to say, oh, we're going to do an infomercial for you. We're going to do a 3D modeling for you. We're going to get you in front of the trade shows. All of that is irrelevant. The first thing you need to make sure is that it's patentable. So you got to do a patent search, and you want to make sure it's done by an attorney with some type of an opinion, preferably a legal opinion. You want to make sure you have some kind of third-party commercial viability, whether you go out in the streets and you actually do, after you're protected, and have people sign off on, would you use this product for this price? Or you have a third-party professional to do a commercial viability study. Either way, you want to make sure it's commercially viable, that it's patentable, and then, of course, you want to have a look at the profits. You want to have somebody look at the breakdown of what's the least expensive way to make that product, and how are you going to get it to market, and how are you going to get it to market successfully. A lot of companies out there that'll do what they call infomercials. You got to watch out for those companies too. They're a dime a dozen. Again, they just want your money. They fall under the Inventors Act of 1999, and you need to be careful. So, under this pretense that you have a great idea and it's the next best Shark Tank huge idea, you are going to get lured into the first place that everybody goes to, which is Google. Then pay-per-click advertising, they pay for thousands, even tens of thousands of keywords, and they pay for the top advertisements. So you'll get sucked into these lead generation companies. You'll put your information online and you'll be bombarded by multiple companies. I encourage you to take the time, do your due diligence, and find out what's going to be best for you. The majority of inventions don't ever make any money, but patents have a value. Understand that if you do decide to take your product to market, look at the people who are taking it to market and look at their track record. They have a strong track record. More importantly, they're not charging you to take it to market. They're actually just doing it on a contingency fee basis, and they have skin in the game. They've proven that they've already sold products successfully, and they understand the process of working with manufacturers and or working with licensing to manufacturers. So either one way, you go direct to market, which is simply to have a product actually made and sell it, and you do all the process of distribution. So what does that mean? If you're going to take a product to market, there's a lot to consider between manufacturing and branding and distribution and understanding your logistics and your fulfillment houses and your market strategy and your shelving space and your retail. Are you going to take it to the big box retailers? Are you going to take it to an infomercial, direct TV, direct response TV? What is it that you're going to do? You need somebody to consult you with this. Now, Global Resource Broker was designed as a company to provide resources. We built a brand underneath Global Resource Broker called Just Invent It. Just Invent It is a simple brand that we've designed to basically explain this. You as an inventor just invent it, and our slogan is we handle the rest. Why do we handle the rest? Because you need somebody to hold your hand that's been there and done it before, that has access to strategic partners that have already been checked out that can help you successfully get through this process. There's no fluff. We're not out here to try to take people's money. We're looking for products that are the real, unique product. If you think you have an incredible product and you already actually have gone through the patenting process and or you are at least patent pending, we'd love to talk to you. If you need help or you want just some questions answered, we'd be more than happy to provide you with a free consultation to get started. But at the end of the day, time is money, and we understand that you're frustrated. Your best way to put it, your level of knowledge is super low, and your level of anxiety and concern about this process is up here. You need somebody to help you even the two out so you can feel comfortable with the process. I hope that I was able to provide some insight after seeing this industry. I reviewed over 20 companies. I got a chance to see the inside or inner workings of many of these companies, and I can assure you that there's a real basis process to how they work. They really want to get your submission in. They don't care what it is. They say they do. They'll put up a lot of times fake stories of success, which they really haven't had. And at the end of the day, they make their money on marketing your product because they're making the money on a marketing package, not because they're making money selling your product. They say they're going to market your product, but they really never do. They say they're going to attend trade shows, but the trade shows, most of the time, they don't have the relationships at these shows to have any difference at all in your product. So at the end of the day, you do end up with no money. You don't end up with what you really wanted, which is time, money, and freedom. You want to have significance. You want to be able to change the world. You want to be able to create a residual passive income, and or you want to build a business around your product. There's just great. The most profitable process you can do is get traffic driven to a website and have a great product that people want to come find. The problem is that it's extremely hard to try to find people in this huge world of the internet that are able to find your site. So you have to pay a lot of money typically to drive traffic to your site or create some kind of viral video or be lucky enough to get on Shark Tank. There's another misconception. Shark Tank's fantastic. I think the model is excellent. If you're lucky enough to get on Shark Tank, that's great. But just to give you some numbers, last quarter, 38,000 people tried out for Shark Tank. Out of the 38,000, only 180 were called back. Out of the 180, only 58 made it on the show. Those are not the best odds in the world. You might as well just play the lottery, but you can always try. The key is that you need somebody that knows what they're doing to consult with. You need somebody that has successfully gone through the process or is going through the process and can get you access to the strategic partners that can make your invention dream a reality. With that, again, Global Resource Broker was so frustrated with all the misconceptions and the misunderstanding, and I know you feel this way because one company will tell you one thing, another company is going to tell you another thing, and at the end of the day, you don't know. You're like going to pull your hair out of your head. I get it. I know. I submitted a product that were not patentable to multiple companies, and they all told me it was patentable. They all told me it was the greatest idea since sliced bread, but at the end of the day, they really couldn't help me. So if you need help and you're serious about your invention and you seriously want to make a difference in regards to getting your idea moved to the next step, contact us. We're here to help. With that, I appreciate you taking the time. I wish you the best in everything you do. God bless. Take care, take charge, and we'll see you on the other side of prosperity with your incredible invention. Thank you for contacting Just Invent It. Take care.